I used to think learning Spanish verbs fast was impossible, and I thought only the polyglots had the skill to do this. It turns out I was completely wrong. In this video, I am sharing with you the perfect blueprint to help you learn Spanish verbs fast. The big focus in this blueprint is exposure, consistency, and practice. You need to be exposed to Spanish verbs as much as possible to be able to learn them fast. Thankfully, you can accomplish this from the comfort of your home. The first thing that I need you to do is to take out a pen or a pencil and something to write on. Now, at the top of this piece of paper, what you're going to do is write down the name of the room that you are currently in. So for me right now, I am in my living room. So I'm going to write that down. Living room in Spanish is la sala. So what we're going to do right now is think of a whole bunch of verbs that are related to this particular room within our home. So I do a lot of writing in my living room. So I'm going to write down that verb on my paper, to write. Some other verbs I can think of that are associated with this room are to watch. So I'm going to write down to watch. I also do a lot of reading in my living room. So I'm going to write that down, to read. Now with this list of verbs that you have, what I want you to do is find the equivalent verb in Spanish and then also write those down right next to the English verb. To write is escribir, to read is leer, to watch is ver, como ver una película, to work is trabajar. We're going to do this exercise for each part of our home. If you run out of verbs to write down, what I want you to do is walk around your home and try to get some more ideas that way. For example, right now, I am in my comedor, the dining room, so I can think about different verbs here. And one verb that comes to my mind in this part of my home is to eat, which is comer. And now I am in the kitchen, la cocina. And one verb that comes into my head here is to cook. And the verb for that in Spanish is cocinar. If you're wondering where to find some Spanish verbs because you have to translate from English to Spanish, well, I have this Spanish verb book here, then also my dictionary, my Spanish dictionary that I also use. And there's a link for both of these in the description box of this video. Perfect. Now we have lists of Spanish verbs that are related to different parts of our home. But now what do you do to be actually exposed to these Spanish verbs? You're going to take out a small sheet of paper like this one, and then what you're going to do is write down the Spanish verbs on them. So make sure that these Spanish verbs are only for one part of your home. And then what I'm going to do is just put this on my wall. This is what I call exposure, and you're gonna do the same exact process in your kitchen, your bedroom, the bathroom, and the dining room. Now, what I want you to do every day with this sheet of paper or sticky note is to read the Spanish verbs that are on them out loud. Why every single day? I want you to develop the habit of consistency because this is a habit that is extremely important for all language learners. If you are taking a lot of breaks from reviewing them, like a week or 2 weeks, it's gonna be very hard to retain these Spanish verbs. That is just how our brain works. Why am I asking you to do this in every part of your home? One big reason for this is that our brains are extremely good at making connections. So what we're doing with this exercise is making sure that our brains are making the connection between these different Spanish verbs with these different parts of our home. Because these are actions that you do very frequently, and your brain already knows that, but now it just needs to know what that Spanish verb is. Another reason is simplicity. So I have found throughout my Spanish learning journey that learning vocabulary in different groups or different topics is a lot easier than when you're trying to learn a whole mix of different topics all at one time. Another good benefit of this blueprint is that it's going to reduce that overwhelming feeling that many Spanish learners get when they first start learning Spanish. And that is, where do I start? There's so many different verbs that I could possibly learn. What should I do first? And that's why you're going to start with a lot of the verbs that you're going to be using every single day when you're at home. Maybe you're asking yourself, well, what about conjugation? And the reason why I'm not focusing too much on conjugation right now is because you need to get like the base form of these Spanish verbs before you can even start to think about conjugation. That is what is going to help you be able to master conjugation, is understanding what is the base form of these Spanish verbs. Also because using the unconjugated version of a Spanish verb or the infinitive version of a verb is actually used a lot by Spanish speakers. So it's not a waste of time at all. Another tip that I have for you to learn Spanish verbs fast is to know the Spanish alphabet. If you don't know how to pronounce the letters in the Spanish alphabet, that's going to make it very difficult for you to actually practice reading off your different vocab lists. And then reading out loud in Spanish while you are reading the verb is going to help you retain that information a lot more, because you're being exposed to these Spanish verbs every single day throughout your home and you are practicing constantly. It's the perfect combination. If you enjoyed this video, make sure that you give it a thumbs up. Also, click or tap on the screen to watch another video about how you can master Spanish verbs as a beginner. Esto es Spanish Blueprints. Me llamo Josué, and thank you very much for watching this video and for your support. Y nos vemos en el próximo video.